completely
Don't
shattered.
speak about Trump's prize possession. This, ceasefire is able to broadcast.
Okay, yeah.
Right from the very beginning, there've been doubts around this because of the terms of the ceasefire itself, the terms around disarmament, going against Israel's stance on decimating and leveling Gaza and Hamas, decimating Hamas. I think it's important to mention that. So I don't think a lot of people are surprised as to what happened in the last few days. What we're expecting, though, in terms of positives today, is that there'll be more aid going into Gaza for the Palestinians there. Unfortunately, a woman and a child are said to have been killed as part of the 26th, and that's quite sad. Trump has said that they're still going to look and investigate what really happened. What was there an aggressor, or what happened that Israel had to had to strike out. But those are some of the things that a number of people had already sort of predicted with regards to the ceasefire. Israel being the main factor as to whether or not it is successful or not. It's still early days, still very fragile, and still not very optimistic as to how long this ceasefire will last. What the Palestinians, indeed the Israelis want, is an end to this war. It's gone longer than expected, and a number of lives have been lost, and what people are asking for, end this war. So at the end of the day, we're hoping that Israel will abide by its own side or its own end of the bargain. But I'd like to just highlight something very quickly of the local scene at Efemi. And that is the tractors from Belarus. Since February, and it's on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, we are wasting money. And there are farmers who want to have a better opportunity to farm. Earlier today, I was talking about diversifying the economy. We make announcements about other sectors, but no follow through. I think it's high time the Minister of Agriculture is held to task. That's Abubakar Kyari, and he has some questions to answer. And that's why I said last week that some ministers are too quiet. There are a number of things that they need to answer for, and these tractors are one of them. Why are they still parked in the council?
Right, thank you for that. I remember we had the minister on Daybreak, I think about a month ago. We took him to book on those tractors, and he said that they're still parked because they are creating a database of the beneficiaries. So once they arrange the database and they get their data aligned, they'll be able to share the tractors. So, but let me go to the data that come together. So I want to focus on Kenya this morning, because what happened in Kenya, I think, is a touch point that reflects on our journey through democracy through the rest of Africa. We bid farewell to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was former Prime Minister of Kenya. How did he get to become Prime Minister? Through a handshake. He was the man who became notorious for rejecting every single election outcome that he participated in. He claimed that he was rigged out of every election and that he was the rightful winner, and became known as the People's President. Well, in his departure and his sent forth and his final journey home and to his resting place, many might actually say that based off of what we saw, the images, the number of people who came out, it is true that he was a very popular man, and that indeed it's possible that he may have won all of the elections that he claims to have won. But the question is, what is the role of opposition in Africa's democracy? If we look at what's happening, the role that Raila Odinga had to play, consistently he would lose the election, then he would have to come into agreement with the government of the day, because the government of the day acknowledged the fact that he controlled a huge portion of the electorate. You look at a country like Zimbabwe, where there were instances in the past where the opposition was said to have won a clear victory in the election, but what happened? There had to be a handshake between the opposition and the ruling party so that the government could move forward. You look at what's happening here in Nigeria with the fact that people are decamping from the opposition parties in their droves to join the ruling party, because they realize that if you're opposition, there's nothing out there for you. It's cold outside government. So for me, my question is, what is the role of opposition in Africa? Do we have opposition that's ready to, despite all Odinga went through, is our opposition ready to stand and do or die and stand on their principle? Or is the ultimate goal just to have that golden handshake with the powers that be within government? And if that's the position of our opposition, then I think we have a serious challenge in trying to deepen our democracy, because the goal can't always be to be in government. I think it's more important to stand on some type of principle
Agreed.
at the end of the day. But I guess it's easy for me to say because I'm not a politician, so I don't invest my money in elections. I suppose the return has to come one way or another.
For you,
Will you vote for me?
We would.
Would I have to spend
We get
money?
your back properly.
Would I have to give you guys something for
No, you wouldn't.
motivation?
We trust you. We trust you. We don't need to
very spot on. In terms of opposition, in Nigeria, you don't win, you defect. As we've seen in recent times, it's how to get into power, but it's the voice and the power we find in democracy to have a vibrant, vibrant opposition. Absolutely.
Yeah, but some people turn what to think that it also has defection now.
It's defection. Go on.
It's defection.
Anyway, thank you, Adefemi Akinsanya, fresh from Israel through the UK. Really fantastic. Great work as always. Well, we'll take a short break now. When we return, we shall be speaking to His Royal Majesty Igwe Nnaemeka Achebe, the Obi of Onitsha. Please stay with us.
Monday morning talking about marijuana and wisdom.
Starting and growing a business can be tough,
That did.
especially with insufficient funds.
This business is becoming too expensive. My children need to start feeding me.
These figures are not small.
At Access Bank, we love SMEs, from business loans to flexible cost savings account. We've got the solutions to help your business thrive. With our Diamond Business Advantage account, you can easily access financial support, business tools for growth, business loans, and opportunities to meet and interact with other business owners. Dream big and elevate your business to the next level. To learn more, visit www.accessbankplc.com/business/SME-banking or walk into any of our branches to get started.
Progress will be happen just like that. It comes from support when you need that.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Now money point to
Money points, thank you.
customer. Now transfer Abi confirm.
Roll a transfer.
Now only point to that. Oh, not confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment will land. As sure like that. Progress na small way when you carry person go far. No worries, I go make am. No go buy that.
Victor, they use money point.
Of course, man, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point made for your progress.
Full House Refreshments is goodness to go round. The Peak Yogurt Drink 1 liter Full House pack with more refreshments which contains fresh cow milk. Enjoy Full House goodness filled with essential vitamin and minerals. Peak, reach for your peak.
Compliance professionals, don't miss Africa's premier compliance event. Afreximbank, in partnership with the National Bank of Rwanda and Rwanda Bankers Association, presents the Compliance Forum 2025, taking place this coming 12th to 14th November in Kigali, Rwanda. Registration is now open. Join your contemporaries to deliberate on the theme, embracing AI to promote and secure trade through a modern AML, CFT, and CPF compliance framework. Explore how AI is changing compliance and impacting on trade. Discover how AI can improve how you assess risks, detect fraud, combat money laundering, and terrorist financing. And get up close to the latest AI-augmented compliance monitoring systems. To reserve your place, register now at acf2025.com.
Welcome to AFIS, the Africa's largest financial industry event. Real connections, actionable ideas, impactful deals. A decisive event, driving Africa's financial industry forward. In 2025, AFIS is back in Casablanca, Morocco, a true financial hub at the crossroads of Africa. Register now and take part in the most transformative event in African finance.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my SureBet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team. Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
All you need to ask yourself is that, where is everybody's money going?
It's important for you to find people that connect with you where you are now, but also complement your weaknesses.
Make sure that what you have can test anybody, anywhere. What inspired me to start my business, Hunger.
Banking prepared me for that. Showing up, waking up early, being dedicated.
The power is in us as people. We are the new oil.
The new media, don't be afraid of
What
it.
makes you stand out with differentiation?
This is going to be my footprint. I'm not going to be in any box.
Naira, shillings, China, yen, interest rates are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares, seasonal and mingle with the peers. Derivatives, currencies, the understanding please. Finance gurus, the thieves and the trade portfolio is getting big. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rice Exchange.
Defenseless protesters. Please, you are aware that we chose today as Nnamdi Kanu now rally. But we also must tell Nigerians that today is one of the darkest days in history of Nigeria. NSAS protest 2020 is 5 years today. So we are going to take a minute silence to recognize the heroes who were killed at the Lekki toll gate for NSAS. Can you take a minute silence? Silence! Their souls continue to pursue their oppressors. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. It's not a tribal issue. It is not a religious issue.
From Abuja, the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest and Omoyele Sowore also did give tribute to those that passed in the NSAS protest that happened about 5 years ago. Today is a symbolic day. So we're currently, like, I think Ferdinand is on ground there, our colleague Ferdinand. I think bring the update as the show goes on. But let's go to culture and celebration now. It's a celebration of Igbo's rich culture and heritage as various dignitaries gathered in Anambra State for 2025 Ofala Festival, from the Iro Ofala, which was held on the 17th to the Azu Ofala on the 18th, and which became the altar and amphitheater. The Ofala Festival is just not just an event only to showcase the richness of Igbo culture. It displays part in uplifting Nigeria's tourism sector. The country's tourism sector is projected to contribute about 11.2 trillion to GDP in 2025. Domestic tourism alone is expected to account for about 6.1 trillion, on half of that, with international visitors spending nearly 803.2 billion. This festival, I'm talking about the Ofala, is no ordinary festival. It's a mirror through which His Majesty Igwe Nnameka Achebe communes with his ancestors on the declaration of continuity in the transient age. Under his reign, the Ofala Festival has blossomed from the royal observers into global heritage. So joining us on the show to discuss the importance and the impact of Ofala Festival is His Royal Majesty Igwe Nnameka Achebe, the Obi of Onitsha. Great to have you, Igwe. May your reign be long, may your days be long. Sir, I know you to be a great patron of the arts, probably one of those that have one of the biggest and richest collection of arts in the country, and you curate history in a very fine form. First, let's start from the history of Ofala itself. Tell us when the first one was held. Tell us the historical ascendancy of the Ofala Festival, and tell us more about the intricacies, the circumcision and the prayers that was offered during this season. And at some point, sir, I would like to come and see your rich art collection. If that's a request I can beg for, I can go on my knee for that. Thank you and good morning, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very faint. What do you want to say? You want to tell you something?
I want you to tell us the history of Ofala. And at some point, I would love to come and see your rich art collection, sir.
Thank you very much. Ofala Onitsha is as old as a community, so going back some 600 years ago. And of course, in those days, our community and literally all communities were very agrarian. And Ofala comes up in the middle of the harvest season when we celebrate, particularly the New Yam Festival. But beyond that, the monarch historically lived in near isolation within the premises of the palace. And he emerged once a year to be seen by his people and to see his people and to receive a pledge of loyalty. So that is the first element of Ofala. And before the king emerges from the palace on that day, 2 days prior, the chiefs, who are historically the warlords and other warriors, carry out a ceremony of checking and assuring the state of the community before the king emerges, so that he doesn't get kidnapped or harmed by enemies. But there are other elements, because it's a period also of annual review of where we've come from and where we're heading to. So part of the preparation for the Ofala is that I go into a spiritual retreat, 5 days, and for 5 days, during which I am cut off completely from the world, the material world. I'm in isolation. I sleep on the floor, and basically in meditation with the ancestors and with God, reviewing the past year, seeking for God's forgiveness for our failures during the year, and asking for God's blessings in the year ahead. Also, part and parcel of the preparation, the build-up to the Ofala, is that we also consult the oracles and all about the well-being of the community, our failures and our challenges, and how to move ahead in a better way.
and more recently, we're now in the 21st century. It's an opportunity for homecoming for our citizens and indigents from all over the world, which didn't exist 600 years ago. And then much more recently, we now see the opportunity to take Onitsha to the world and bring Onitsha to, and bring the world to Onitsha. And that's what's the package that we have today. Obviously, by bringing the world to Onitsha, there is an economic side of it, lifestyle, tourism, and so on and so forth. So that's essentially where we are today with Ofala Onitsha. My art collection, you're welcome at any time, Rufai, you're welcome at any time. We've just published a book just about 2 years ago on some of my collection. I'll be glad to give a copy to you, but you have to come to Onitsha to get it. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I'm sure it's definitely worth the trip. Congratulations, Your Royal Majesty, on the success of the just concluded Ofala Festival. Now, as you've mentioned, one of the key areas is tourism and also an opportunity for the locals across the world from Onitsha to come back home and experience the vibrancy of the culture. I wanted to ask around the youth, young people. It's an opportunity for them to connect to their heritage. Festivals like the Ofala Festival, are there deliberate activities to ensure that the young people come back home, are able to embrace and speak the language, the culture, and are able to then export the culture wherever they find their feet?
Could you say it again?
I was asking about, yes, the young people. The young people is an opportunity for them to come back home and connect to their heritage. Are there deliberate activities to ensure that this kind of festival go from one generation to generation through the involvement of young people?
Oh yes, thank you very much. I got your question, yes. My purpose, I think we're getting there now, is to institutionalize our various activities. Ofala, for instance, is becoming that. Our young ones are part and parcel of it. If you saw the program, they also had their own carnival on the day before Ofala. But that's all. That's just part of it, because we have a massive program for our young ones, for our youths who are based in Onitsha, but also those who are not, because we take advantage of technology. Our culture is very important to them. We make it very important to them. Our language is also very important. It's a challenge, particularly for our children who were born outside Onitsha and growing up anywhere around the world. But it is work in progress, and we are very mindful of that. Ofala has lasted for 600 years, and we want to make sure it lasts for another 600 years and beyond and beyond. But it's all about hard work, and we're willing to walk the distance. Thank you.
Absolutely, and in the spirit of ensuring that Ofala goes on for another 600 years and beyond, some of the issues are affecting this festival are insecurity issues that we're well aware of, especially in the past 4 years, where the report was released that the Southeast has lost about 7.6 trillion naira over the 4-year period to various incidents of insecurity and so forth. I'd love to know more about some of the efforts, not just around this festival, but moving forward, especially given that this year's theme was unity and perseverance. I tried to say it in Igbo, but is it Njiko Nantachi? I don't know if I got it right. What are some of the efforts being made, and what's the direction you feel the Southeast needs to take to harness, to bring insecurity under control so that festivals such as Ofala and all other activities can flourish in a similar way that they used to prior to the scourge of insecurity that we're currently seeing?
You're quite correct, Ayo, that insecurity is a major challenge, has been a major challenge, and you read the figure I put down there. I didn't create it. There are facets to it, and at the community level, we owe it to ourselves to do whatever we can to protect the community. In addition to the Anambra Vigilante Group, of which we have a contingent, we've also created our own Onitsha Community Vigilante Group, and they work together to protect the community. Their main purpose, being on the ground in the community, is intelligence, and they give the intelligence to the police and the other security agencies, who then execute. But beyond Onitsha, at the state level, I personally lead a small group, but a small, very distinguished group of the Southeast, a joint body of the Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers and the representatives of the archbishops and bishops of Igbo origin. So the traditional and religious institutions coming together with the civic leaders also coming together. And we hold discussions, we reach out to the governors, we reach out to other stakeholders. We've tried to reach out also even to some of the known leaders of the situation. As of today, the economic challenge is to open up economic activities on Mondays. Today is Monday. Onitsha is just basically half open. The shops are closed until later in the day they begin to open up. The banks do not open and the markets do not open. And those are the two challenges that we need to crack to get economic life back. And the governors have a role to play. Some states, Ebonyi State, for instance, declares that they have no problem of sit-at-home on Mondays. I've been in Abia State on a Monday. Life was going on as normal. Anambra State seems to be the most affected, and it's a challenge for us to crack it and get the market leaders to open up the market, but also with proper security, so that they're not exposed to attacks by the hoodlums.
So I'd like to talk to you about cultural legacies, the need for cultural sites that will act as a form of legacy and tribute.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my head about a couple of projects. How about an Ofala museum? How about your own museum projects? With all this your rich work of arts that can bring the world. Because I know in that your collection, you have some collections that are not even in the biggest museums in the world, and the world needs to come. So how about an Ofala endowment fund that will bring an Ofala museum and your own personal collection museum that can also serve in boosting tourism, acting as economic conduits for the states, and painting Onitsha out there to the world, because Onitsha is already global, but making it out there even more so that when these diasporans come back, they can have places to go, like they go to the Louvre and some other museums.
Rufai, you are actually singing my song. Thank you very much for raising those points. We actually have a museum under construction. It's been going on for over 10 years. Unfortunately, we take 2 steps forward and we get 1 step back because of the the poor economic conditions in the country, corporate donations are hard to come by. The COVID set us back quite a bit, but as of today, it's a massive structure actually, maybe overscoped, but it's roofed, it's plastered, and we're now going to finishing. So if you can help us to call for funding, both national and international, that will help us. On my own part, I'm also trying to, in fact, it's work in progress. The architectural designs are almost complete. Basically, to create a private museum in my own personal residence, and people can have access to it also. Because having your collections in storage is like having, books not in the shelf. People don't have access to it. We have a large collection, and we have a distinctive collection, both on the modern and contemporary art, but also on the traditional side. There are elements from our own traditional collections from various families that will go into that museum. I think it will be a rich institution for people to come from all over the world to enjoy. So it's work in progress, Rufai. And we need your help
I'd like
as
to
you can.
humbly solicit funds, everybody, to grow culture, to grow legacy in Onitsha. If you're interested, go out there, support the museums out there in Onitsha. It's really important. And the rich collection you also have, sir. Thank you so much, may your days be long. We'll take a short break now, and thank you for coming. When we return, we shall be talking to Wilson Owujere, spokesperson of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Stay with us.
Compliance professionals, don't miss Africa's premier compliance event. Afrexim Bank, in partnership with the National Bank of Rwanda and Rwanda Bankers Association, presents the Compliance Forum 2025, this 12th to 14th November in Kigali, Rwanda. Registration is now open. Exploring the theme, embracing AI to promote and secure trade through a modern AML, CFT, and CPF compliance framework. To reserve your place, register now at acf2025.com.
Meal time is game on. Meet my SureBet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team. Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Why do Nigerians succeed at everything they do?
It's the 65th independence of our beloved country. 65 years of trials and triumphs, of hope carried in the hearts of millions. Nigeria stands tall, united, and unbroken. Today, Access is making history by creating the first ever human Nigerian map.
A friend of mine once told me that if you go to any part of the world and you do not find a Nigerian, leave that place, because there is nothing to do there.
Just like the Access Warrior slogan, as a nation we remain unbound, unbent, and unbroken.
Your skin is your wealth, and perception is reality. Upgrade Upgrade to affordable luxury brands from the La Roche-Posay range and the CeraVe range. Download the Conga app and shop on conga.com, MedPlus, Bido Pharmacy, Net Pharmacy, and Alpha Pharmacy. Conga Health, a subsidiary of Conga Group, is the exclusive distributor of L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty, world's #1 dermatological beauty brand. Your skin is your wealth and perception is reality. Upgrade to affordable luxury brands from the La Roche-Posay range and the CeraVe range. Download the Conga app and shop on conga.com, MedPlus, Bido Pharmacy, Net Pharmacy, and Alpha Pharmacy. Conga Health, a subsidiary of Conga Group, is the exclusive distributor of L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty, world's #1 dermatological beauty brand.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay power, you find it all in quick. Every move you make, we snatch you all the way. And the beat goes on.
Power on every morning with a peak breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Keystone, baby, you know it. Keep on,
From now to December 31st, 2025, you could be one of the 565 lucky winners in the Keystone Mega Milli giveaway. Simply carry out 10 transactions or more on any Keystone Bank channel for weekly cash wins, or save 10,000 naira or more for a month to qualify for the mega draw where millionaires are made. No account yet? Download the Key Mobile app from your app store and open one today for your share of millions. T's and C's apply. Keystone Bank, we grow together.
My name is Austin Azuko Kochan, but you all call me JJ. That's because I was so unstoppable, they named me twice. During my days as a professional footballer, I played as an attacking midfielder. No one could stop me, not even malaria, when mosquito bites. Now you too can be unstoppable if you use Lonat against the ball.
Lonat, a combination of Artemether and lumefantrine. Lonat, be unstoppable.
News channel. Whenever there is a change of leadership at any organization, all attention focuses on the impact and growth the new leader brings to fore. Since the confirmation by the Senate on October 18, 2023, Ola Olukoyede has led the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission with high visibility mandates to deepen prosecution, recover proceeds of crime, and strengthen cross-border cooperation. 2 years on, the Commission under its leadership has recorded a string of headline figures and operational milestones, a mix of courtroom victories and large-scale for future high-value cash recoveries and new institutional partnerships. Under Olukoyede, the EFCC pursued international reforms and regional partnerships aimed at making future investigations faster and harder to frustrate. Joining us now on the show to discuss the EFCC's growth under the leadership of Olukoyede and how the agency intends to improve its operation is Wilson Owujare, Director of Public Affairs at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Great to have you, Ola Wilson, and good to see you again, Wilson Owujare itself. I mean, as we celebrate and we look back, since Mr. Olukoyede got in there, the question is, number one, what are the milestones? What are the big milestones? But also, what are the knocks you have received? Based on some of the knocks, people say that the EFCC make a lot of noise about cases, but they don't get conviction. A lot of people are still looking at some of the cases and saying, okay, yeah, I've been those cases off. Many other cases are off. So they are kudos and they are knocks at the same time. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you for that question, and it's my pleasure to be with you this morning. The last 2 years of the leadership of Olabunmi of the EFCC, I would say, has been very, very impactful. That, for me, is not surprising. He is somebody who came to the job rather fully prepared for the assignment. Bearing in mind that before his appointment, he had served previously as the chief of staff to an acting chairman of the commission. I was also secretary to the commission at a point in time. So he knew the commission inside out, and he was unmistaken in setting his agenda when he appeared before the Senate for confirmation. He actually told that August body that he had 3 priorities as far as it's concerned. First of all, he wanted to use anti-corruption to stimulate the economy. And also he said he was going to work within the ambit of the rule of law. And thirdly, that he was going to enforce professionalism within the EFCC. On those 3 scores, I think he has performed excellently well in the last 2 years. On the score of stimulating the economy, when he came on board, part of the initial step he took was to set up a task force on naira abuse and dollarization of the economy. And that saw operatives of the commission go around tackling naira racketeering and also tackling those who were engaged in round tripping. Those activities were part of what we thought were responsible for the free fall of the naira at the point in time, the value of the naira at the point in time. And when we took that step and actually got a number of people prosecuted for naira abuse, there was some kind of stability in the value of the naira. And that, to us, is a measure of the effectiveness of some of the steps that he took initially. And that was in collaboration with some of the monetary policies that the CBN also adopted. Apart from that, in terms of concrete terms, Nigerians can see, for instance, that he was very, very intentional in terms of prosecuting corruption cases. Over the last 2 years, we have charged around 29,000 cases have been investigated, and over 10,000 have been charged to court. Within that period, we secured 7,503 convictions. But in terms of recovery of assets, where we made really landmark achievements over those 2 years, we have recovered hundreds of billions of naira and tens of millions of dollars. Usually when you talk about figures of recoveries, Nigeria will ask you, where is the money? We say you have recovered billions of naira, millions of dollars. Where are the monies? And the suspicion of people is that probably we sit down in our office and share those money, which is not the correct situation. But over these 2 years that I'm talking about, Nigerians can see evidence of how processes of crime are being utilized by the government. I will cite 2 examples. For instance, we have the student loan scheme and the consumer credit scheme. Part of the process of crime recovered by the EFCC was invested as take-off grant for those schemes. 100 billion, for instance, was invested, 50 billion for the student loan scheme and 50 billion for the consumer credit scheme. You can imagine what this will do for social inclusion in our country. Students who otherwise would not have benefited from tertiary education now have the opportunity to benefit because of funds that the commission recovered. If you talk of the not liquid asset that will recover, for instance, you have 753 units of duplexes in Abuja, the most important recovery that we achieved last year. Is there, government will decide what to do with that. But if you look at what we also recovered in Kaduna, the North University, for instance, government took the measure, after the final forfeiture of that asset, government took the decision to convert it to a Federal University of Applied Sciences in Kachia, Kaduna State. The students who will benefit from the asset in that institution will be the direct beneficiary of the process of crime recovered by the EFCC. And that, for us, is a monumental investment in manpower development in the country. But if you talk about the challenges that we have, or what Nigerians will say are the downside, cynicism is always there. People ask, Why is it that you are focusing more on cybercrime rather than politically exposed persons? But they don't realize the damage that cybercrime does to the economy of Nigeria.
All right, let me come in there.
Cybercrime is a big deal.
Yes. So we're almost out of time, so Jared, and I really want us to also talk about some other things. I'm glad you talk about politically exposed people, because the amount of money that these, politically exposed people take out of Nigeria is quite significant. But let me speak about one of the things that, one of the initiatives that Mr. Olukoyede has proudly achieved, and that is the special task on against Naira abuse and dollarization of the economy. We've been able to secure 35 convictions for Naira crime, but I think the other part of it has not really been very successful, which is dollarization of the economy. We see adverts where people advertise properties listed in dollars, school fees in certain schools in Nigeria in dollars. These are very obvious cases. Why is the EFCC not going after them? Because we know that there's a special task force. We are working against abuse of the Naira, and to be fair, that has significantly reduced. But how about the dollarization of the improvement in staff welfare that he has brought about? He has also reformed our structure. For instance, we have the zonal command that we used to have been transformed into directorate, which have increased the level of mobility in terms of career advancement for staff. And 3 new directorates have also been created by him. One in Ekiti, another one in Katsina, and the last one in Anambra State. That has the tendency to bring the commission more closer to the people. And those who want to file complaints, instead of traveling long distances, have the ability to go quickly to the next zonal command to file their complaints. Staff also have been provided with CNG buses, especially in headquarters, so commuting to office is much more easier now than before. And also, based on our response to feedback that we get from the public, he has also initiated a number of policy reforms. For instance, we now have a policy on sting operation. We have a new policy on a new gift policy, which that provides a kind of grand norm on what staff are to do when they are giving gifts outside. You know what gift to accept and what not to accept. We also have a policy on exhibit room security. Those are issues that emanate from the response to feedback that we get from members of the public.
Okay, so thank you so much for that insight. Now, as we round up this conversation, I'd like to focus on the issue of media trial. Because I remember when Mr. Olukoyede came into office, one of the things he emphasized was that under him, there would be no media trial. But what we continue to see is a lot of these cases playing out in the media, which creates a lot of public interest. But then we don't get the final conclusion, which leaves the public to sort of assume what the outcome could be, especially those political ones that we've seen come up. They are huge conversation. We have heard that some people are invited. After their invitation, we never hear about it. At most, what we'll see is maybe some people moving from one party to another political party. We don't know whether it's associated. But I'd love for you to speak to the goal that had been created to tone down on media trials, but what seems to have played out in the continuation of media trials.
Let me understand, because if it's just this guy, I can make a video and send.
But thanks for that question. If I was not to start,
okay, very simple. That's okay.
But I can assure you that there's nothing like media trial, especially in the USCC. What normally
that is it. But let me just put up the basics and I will send it to you.
Before the commission. They make that information available to the associate and friends. And before you know it, the news is out there. The commission has no control over what you tell people about. What we don't go out of our way to share information, education, and all that. But when the matter is charged to court, it becomes a matter in the public domain, and the media is free to talk about it. You can go to court and obtain charges and all that. It's not within the control of the commission. But coming to the issue of maybe investigation, and after investigation, 1 year, 2 years, nothing has happened. It is not peculiar to Nigeria. I can describe it as the best practice everywhere. FBI can be on the case for 5 years and nobody has been charged to court. People don't make noise about that. The last time I was watching one of the television networks when the FBI went to the home of the former National Security Advisor of the US, John Bolton. nobody raised issue of political victimization in that circumstance. But if it was in Nigeria, people would say,
Mr. Ujare, that's a very bad example. They raised thoughts about political victimization. Don't tell us about it. We know it, there is.
People
use another example. Use another example.
What make your statement, your thoughts in one statement, in one sentence?
Well, the good thing that I think on the whole, Mr. Olunkari has acquitted himself remarkably well in these first 2 years of his stewardship. And I would expect Nigerians to give him maximum support to do more as he moves into the second part of his 4-year term as executive chairman of the EFCC. He has shown capacity, he has shown competence in the job, and I believe Nigeria stands to benefit from his leadership going forward.
I wish we had more time to really dissect your statement, but I believe Nigerians are in the best position to determine and to vote as to how well he's done. But congratulations to him again on the 2nd year anniversary. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we will be bringing you Political Brief with the Rise Director of News and Politics, Editor Suna Sambo. Stay with us.
It's the Indomie Eat and Win promo. The more you eat, the more you win. How to win? Buy the Indomie Eat and Win promo pack. Find the promo code inside. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win. Enter your promo code and start earning points fast for a chance to win exciting gifts and 1 million naira cash every week for a lucky winner. So hurry now, eat and win. Let the winning begin. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win for more details, terms, and conditions apply.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with a rich, creamy taste of Nescafe Original 3-in-1. Carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your hustle and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong. Finish strong.
With the rising cost of things, we need to plan our next move. Guy, I agree with you. I mean, with the money we make, we should not be struggling with our finances now.
Maybe you both need better banking options.
What do you know about better banking options?
I recently moved my salary account to Polaris Bank, and since then, it's been a smooth ride for me. They bought over my existing loan and gave me better interest rates and repayment terms.
Are you serious?
Yes, as a Polaris salary account holder, I can get personal term loan, auto loan, mortgage, 50% salary advance, credit card, and more without going to the bank.
Really?
I've got a personal term loan already. See, here's my credit card too.
How do I make the move?
Simple. Open a Polaris salary account on Vault. Use salary account as your referral code.
My guy, I am moving my salary accounts now.
Get personal term loan and more with your Polaris salary account. Vault is available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Meal time is game on. Meet my SureBet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team. Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Solar energy has improved the lives of Nigerians in the sense that we can have a cleaner environment and thereby preserving the earth for future generations. Our mission is to ensure we develop and deliver locally acceptable, contemporary, and innovative solutions in partnership with global organizations to ensure that we become the first and the trusted choice for Nigerians. So the option of having a solar solution at just 30% equity already ensures that you have money back in your pocket, because then you can then pay on a monthly basis over a period of time, which if you compare with the fact that you're also paying with is actually more affordable over a period of time. Then you can have your access to power under your control at every point in time for up to 10 years.
Natural sun-ripened yellow corn, individually cornflakes to preserve its natural goodness. That's what makes Nasco cornflakes truly whole flakes. Enjoy the tasty, crunchy, and nutritious Nasco cornflakes.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now, the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party has taken a new twist as the party's national secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, has alleged the forgery of his signature in a letter notifying the National Electoral Commission of the party's national convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State. Anyanwu, an ally of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made the allegation in petitions he sent to INEC, the Department of State Services, and the Inspector General of Police. In petitions dated October 15, Anyanwu stated that he never signed the August 29 letter to INEC notifying the electoral body of the party's November 15 to 16 national convention. Well, still on politics, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Nintawe Yilwata, has claimed that several prominent members of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, will join the ruling party next week. In recent weeks, the APC has seen a wave of new entrants from opposition parties ahead of the 2027 general elections. The APC chairman added that many of the incoming members, and I quote, have completed their medicals, end quote, and will be formally unveiled next week. Yilwata described the APC as the bride of the moment, noting that more politicians, including senators, governors, and members of the National Assembly, were preparing to join the party. Well, last but certainly not least, former Minister of Interior and National Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, Rauf Aregbesola, has revealed why President Bola Tinubu will lose the 2027 general elections, in his own opinion. He stated that regardless of the grandstanding of the ruling All Progressives Congress, the African Democratic Congress, that's the ADC, will take over the mantle of leadership in Nigeria and in most of the states. Aregbesola said this on Saturday in Ilorin while fielding questions in an interview with newsmen after the commissioning of the state secretariat of the party along Basin Road, Ilorin. Weighing in on governors joining the ruling APC, the former Interior Minister said that those going to the APC were the enemies of the people. Well, joining us on the Political Brief to discuss these stories is Arise Director of News and Politics Editor, Samna Sambo. Samna, good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Yeah, good morning, Wimba. Good morning, Rufai, and the rest of the team. Good morning to our viewers.
All right, let's get straight into it. The National Convention, slated for November 15th and 16th, has just hit another hiccup on the road to preparations. How much water do you think this particular development, that's Samuel Anyanwu claiming that his signature was forged, do you think that this will dent the preparations towards the National Convention?
Well, it's one day, one trouble for PDP, and I just hope that they are able to settle their issues. But there are several cases on this particular issue. There's one that's already in court, and the judge has promised Nigerians that before the end of October, he will be able to deliver a judgment that will deal with these issues. Now, on this new one that's coming up, Samuel Anyanwu will have to explain to Nigerians why he did not deny the statement categorically made by Senator Bala Mohammed, governor of Bauchi State, who is the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, during the 102nd NEC meeting, which held. And Samuel Anyanwu was right there inside that hall when Bala Mohammed told PDP NEC members and everyone there that Samuel Anyanwu co-authored the letter that was sent to INEC by the PDP National Working Committee. That means the PDP acting national chairman, as he was then, before he eventually became the national chairman, and he himself. So why did Samuel Anyanwu not deny that right there when the statement was categorically made by Bala Mohammed? And why is he choosing now, since August, to actually file a petition to the DSS? To be fair to him, I would think that if indeed he felt injured, he would have immediately, risen up to actually say that, look, whatever is being said here is false. I never signed this, or I was, under duress asked to sign this and all of that. I think if not for anything, the PDP officials actually owe some level of respect to their members and to Nigerians when they are doing all this, they are fighting. Like they are having in court right now, where Kamaldeen Ajibade, the party's national legal advisor, who is being said to have been asked to step aside, and Chris Uche is being asked to actually take over, that the NWC sometime last week asked that Chris Uche take over the case and not longer Kamaldeen Ajibade. Well, Kamaldeen Ajibade was also elected at the National Convention, just like the other officials. So if it's going to be removed, the removal has to be made public. And so all this infighting and all of that, I don't think that's what Nigerians really need. But this goes ahead to tell us that there's a huge issue of internal democracy, lack of internal democracy within our political party. Imagine a former governing party acting like one of these new parties that have just been registered. I mean, Nigerians have to really, be prepared for 2027.
Indeed. All right, whilst the PDP is fighting, the APC is saying that more governors are going to defect this week. I don't know if there'll be governors from the PDP, most likely, and we don't know where. But I wanted to ask you, who do you think will be defecting this week? They say they've done the medicals. Governors, some senators, principal members of other parties, maybe of the ADC, the PDP, and the likes. Who are we looking at for an announcement of a defection this week?
Well, Ayo, it's very clear that it's the Bayelsa State governor that he was talking about, Oyediri and others, but he will see the drama that's also going on in Bayelsa, where the deputy governor Rujako has actually said that he hasn't made up his mind to go alongside his principal, the governor, and so we may likely see some sort of challenges ongoing in that state, and maybe a possible impeachment move against the deputy governor if eventually he decides not to go. And then you see that some other top ADC leaders too are uncomfortable with the moves by the party. So many people are not so clear as to what is actually going on in ADC at the moment. The course is not so clear. So many people who are unsure of their move actually renegotiating with APC. Some of them, due to shame, they don't want to go back to the PDP where they came from. So they are looking for a safe landing in the APC. So this is the character of the average Nigerian politician in the times that we are in. And so that's why there's this huge call for electoral reforms that will stop, not just electoral reforms, even constitutional reforms that will stop people from defecting from one party to the other easily. Yes, there's the issue of constitutional right to association, but nonetheless, especially for those who are elected and they have the votes of the people, you shouldn't just move at will when you're still holding the votes of the people. And this is also a wake-up call to the entire opposition that, look, if they continue to mess themselves up and they don't organize, and the APC is harvesting from all of these mistakes that they are making, why do you then go ahead to blame the APC for wanting a one-party state? In fact, we're even going to a zero-party state if we're not careful. With all these issues that are happening within the polity, we need to actually investigate the psychology of an average Nigerian politician. What exactly goes on in his mind? Does he respect the people he seeks votes from? And then as we head into 2027, Nigerians should be the one that will dictate to political parties, not political parties dictating to Nigerians. I think a whole lot of, the electorate have enough of all of this.
Some, I can quickly tell you the psychology of an average Nigerian politician. Yes, he doesn't respect the people. It's about himself, his family members, and maybe his friends, if he's quite generous. But predominantly he, his family. It's a shop alone, die alone mentality. And that's why anywhere the left is, he will go. That's just it. So that's the mentality of an average politician. But I'd like to ask you about an ADC person, that is saying that APC will lose in an election when ADC legs are still very shaky on the ground. Is he saying something we are not seeing? Or is he missing? Or has he been drinking too much Gary?
Well, fantastic observation there by you, Rufa. Let's take a look at this person who is making this statement. He's someone who was one of the closest political bodies to President Bola Tinubu. If there's anyone who knows President Tinubu in and out, right from his bedroom, it is this same person, Rauf Aregbesola. Very close ally, someone who was in charge of Alimosho in Lagos when they were playing their Lagos politics. I mean, very, very, very close. Aregbesola may be seeing certain things, certain missteps that Tinubu is going to take ahead of the elections, which may actually make or mar, the election. But I can tell you that if the elections were to be held right today, Tinubu will actually win the elections based on the realities that we're seeing. So maybe they actually really warming up. And some of the things that I actually hear that they are saying is that there's a likelihood that they may not even use the ADC, that APC is looking for all arsenals to actually defeat the ADC. The actual party that they are waiting for also is the ADA, which is yet to be fully registered. And we're hoping that the new INEC chairman will continue from where Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stopped and register all the political parties, about 14 of them that they had said they actually meet all the criteria. So if they are able to do this, there's a likelihood that they'll actually transfer all that they've been doing in ADC to ADA and take APC by storm. But that can only happen if the PDP, Labour Party, and then SDP and all of these people come together in one single opposition to challenge Tinubu. Well, for now, anything can happen. We still have some few months, but for now, I can tell you that APC continues to work stronger. Not necessarily because the APC is popular among Nigerians, but because the political actors in the opposition are playing to the gallery and not really doing the homework. Well, you will have seen that Aregbesola going to Kwara to inaugurate this new chapter there. But in Kwara, as we speak, everybody is just taking a stand as to the one that you question what exactly is going on. In Kwara, Saraki continues to blossom with PDP there. While the governor, who is from APC, is having some challenges politically. But then with the introduction of ADC, it's left to be seen if ADC will make an inroad there or not. But one thing I can tell you is that going into 2027 election, one character that the average Nigerian politician, especially at the national level, is adopting is the Wike philosophy, belonging to two political parties at the same time. Would this help people ahead of 2027? Because even Saraki himself, look at some of his allies, they are in ADC. People like former Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed. And then Saraki himself is still in PDP, and we see him romancing in one way or the other with people who are in the government, because Wike is Saraki's friend, one of his closest friends. A whole lot of Nigerians don't know that. And then you see all of this playing out. Can we continue to sustain this kind of politics where even Governor Diri is partyless, having been elected to hold a political position? You are not telling Nigerians that you are partyless. What? He's going to APC, and we all wait to see what happens.
Important questions right there. Is this how politics and democracy in Nigeria would look like, going forward? Thank you very much indeed for your time. We look forward to seeing you again next week, Monday. Time for a short break now. When we return, Aaron Akerejola will be here with Global Sports Updates. Stay with us.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment?
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try again. I know it's expensive.
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank. For more information, visit our website on www.vwcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Naira, shillings, China, yen, interest rate are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares. Seize the moves and mingle with the peers. Derivatives and currencies. Help me understand it, please. Finance gurus, the thieves of the trade portfolio is getting thick. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rax Exchange.
As we gather tonight to celebrate the 2025 Icon Gala honorees.
Being an icon is about service. It's about resilience and leaving space for others to rise. I accept this award not just for myself, but for every single African and diasporic creator daring to dream big.
We are the libraries they tried to burn.
But Africa is right now.
The Trailblazer Managing Director and CEO of Fidelity Bank PLC.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Welcome to Morning Chirac on the Rise News channel. For sports updates, Aaron Akwende live here. Aaron, great to have you. Good morning.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Rufai. Good morning to you, Bimbai. Good morning to you, Adio. Adio, there's some good news coming in for you. But before we get there, let's talk about the Marmot encounter that actually happened yesterday at Anfield. It was the battle of the Reds, the original Reds, I'd like to call themselves, against the Red Devils. Manchester United taking on Liverpool. And this man, Harry Maguire, former captain of the team, the man that goes the highest to send them into the stratosphere. Of course, 3 points right now. This is the very first time in a very long time. As you can see, that Manchester United have won back-to-back games. Ruben Amorim, we're hoping that this continues. Although Sergio Bradley has said
He's still got like 3 more years to probably settle the team and move them to glory. But for now, let us say that it's game after game and it's looking good. Game after game. Okay, let's press even further because you can actually see that once Erling Haaland is scoring goals for fun. And over the weekend, he put everything to the sword, and you can see that when he talks about the fewest matches to reach 10 plus goals, Erling Haaland is dominated first, second, and third. The 2025-2026 season is taking him 8 games to actually get to 10 plus goals. Kudos to him. So, but let's come to the table right now. As it stands, man, providing the assist, talking about Gabriel, for his teammate to score and help Arsenal to the top of the table. Leandro Trossard scored the only goal in the game in the London Derby against Fulham, and that meant that Arsenal picked up maximum points, 19 points right now from 8 games. Manchester City are second with 16 points. Liverpool third. Bournemouth, Tottenham, and
I just said that. I just bring about 5 minutes. I come out again. I'm not even going to
maybe this might just be the season.
I entered there.
This might just be the season.
The number of students really there.
Division.
It was not enough to 1 over 3.
Yesterday.
So I come out. I don't go outside.
Beating Getafe by a solitary goal. Kylian Mbappe once again on song for the Los Angeles. But that's not even the issue because this particular video dominating the social media. What people are doing.
Students love the so, and most of them know the second class. About when I entered the just about out of 7 students back
involved Vinicius Junior and the 37-year-old.
But everything where you see and I just
thought seconds on the pitch when this incident happened, and they said this is not a red card. At best, a yellow card. The Vinicius down.
People wake up and
in an Olympic swimming contest. So
the only person who has seen here
the straight red and maybe I chalked it off. But let's see how it actually goes. But for now, as we press it further, you can see that Real Madrid are still winning. I said top of the table, looking like they might actually do this. This season, I've been playing also winning. Later with Araujo meant that they closed up the gap, so they got 22 points, sitting in second.
The problem is they can't even do it.
Let's not actually bring it in.
The problem is they can't even do
it. This was not a nice outing.
And you know they wrote. So I can't agree with you.
Annihilated.
See, I wrote there.
Goes to 1 away from home.
And so if you are trying to come, you don't go to carry
men against boys for fight. Men against boys. Okay, no, all right. Yeah, closing that bell, Kuta.
Yeah, all right.
Literally men against boys, and they still have an away game to play. So when they travel back to South Africa, some are saying that the goal tally might swell up to 10. But that's how it is. But let's move away from this to the under 20. Okay, before then, the MPFL table, of course, better insurance against Rivers United postponed, but some other games that actually came in. Kora United getting a massive win. Barol FC beating Caterpillars, a massive one there. 3SC continued their fantastic form, beating Abia Warriors 2-0. Niger Tornadoes 4-2. And when you look at the table at the moment, some will say because of the deficit clubs like Remo do have, that this table is not a perfect reflection of what it is. But as it stands right now, Nassau United are topping, Shooting Stars are second, Abia Warriors are third, and Niger Tornadoes just below the automatic Champions League places there. Now let's go to Chile, where the Under-20 World Cup actually happened, and Morocco, who have invested heavily over the last 15 years in football, are beginning to see things play and beginning to see things actually turn in favor of the Moroccan Football Federation, because at the moment, Morocco becoming the second African team since Ghana did it in 2009 to win the Under-20. Morocco are winning their very first age grade competition, being 17, 20, 23. Remember, they got to a very, very enviable place at the last World Cup. So Moroccan football is on the rise, some are saying. And finally, refined, Max Verstappen is saying that I will not go down without a fight. It was a US Grand Prix over the weekend, and Max Verstappen claiming 33 points out of 33. And when you look at the finish, it was close. Charles Leclerc was hoping that he might have finished second, But ultimately, as it stands right now, Lando Norris and the McLaren team are holding forth. And you look at it there, because Verstappen finishing first, Norris second, Charles Leclerc second for third, Lewis Hamilton coming close with the Ferrari car. And as it stands right now, Verstappen has closed the gap, and it's looking like it's going to go down the wire. We thought it was the McLaren 1 or 2 for this season. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's good, the gap. You can actually see that now. You can see that. It's actually 300 points. So just you can see the different 40 points separation. He has to win top of the table. Max Verstappen, who is there? Lando Norris is just 332 points. So close up the gap. Pretty good. Another win, another massive win for Verstappen. Who knows? We'll see how we got it. We're not even crossed the halfway point. So.
And you think others will drop first?
Okay, let's see how it goes. But this is how we stand right now.
Keep deceiving yourself. Please, you better congratulate McLaren earlier now for Constructors' Championship. That's the way to go. It's time for a short break. When we return, Audrey will be here with details of what's trending with us.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think South. In today's fast-moving, fast world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with an enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, wherever or however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch. For easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service, Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
China, yen, interest rate are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares. Seize the moves and mingle with the fears. Derivatives and currencies. Help me understand it, please. Finance girls, the thieves and the trade portfolio is getting big. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rax Exchange.
We go to the lengths of the universe to bring you the top stories of the day. From the breaking news to the big stories, from Nigeria, across Africa, and the world, we bring a unique perspective.
A Nigerian perspective, an African understanding of global events as they occur.
Politics and policy, people and events.
Thought leaders and newsmakers. Innovation, technology, culture, and the arts,
as well as everything else in between.
Every night on Africa's premier news broadcaster, we ask the hard questions and get the answers. Speak to the experts that give the deep insights on issues that shape our world.
Every news night on Arise, the world's standout news channel.
back to the morning show right here on the Rise News Channel. Joining us now with stories trending around the world is the Empress of Umukwata, Georgina Jinixo.
Thank you, Rufai. How are you this morning?
Good.
Excellent. I saw you dancing. You were dancing this weekend.
When you have a lot of back pay, what do? You
dance it off, isn't it?
So
very
I'm
good.
now going to be part of that dancing competition for the governors. Remember, I said they're going to organize.
Yes.
Yes. So
true. Are you going to do that?
Alongside Governor Osun, Lagos, and all the governors.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Every Nigerian, how are you? Keep fight that. All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. As today marks the 5th anniversary of the NSAS protest and the tragic lengthy killings of October 20, 2020, we pay tribute to victims of SARS and honor the legacy of a movement that captured global attention. The NSAS protest brought together millions of young Nigerians demanding an end to police brutality and government accountability. The Sorosuke and Coconut Head generation took to the streets in peaceful demonstrations that culminated in the tragic event. Let's bring you a recap.
No, any little thing, if there's no any specific thing, just anything that I can really give me 100, 200, I don't we are.
Our top story at this hour.
You understand? So there's no specifics.
That is still developing and unfolding tonight. Sounds of gunfire have exploded on the
there's just something that he has somewhere to fall back.
The report of the Nigerian authorities to end increasingly violent protests against police abuses. Riot police have been deployed across the country and a curfew has come into force in several states. We have special coverage tonight as Nigeria witnesses a major escalation after 2 weeks of protests against police brutality. But still, the protesters have remained on the street.
Look at Lagos, ladies and gentlemen, look at over there. Look at Lagos is on fire. They're blocked everywhere.
Despite video and pictorial evidence, the Nigerian army has denied opening fire and killing peaceful NSAS protesters at Lekki Tollgate in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos. For the Sumba movement. As we mark this significant milestone, activist Omoyele Showere's move to organize a protest against the detention of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, around Aso Rock, the National Assembly complex, Force headquarters, the Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way has been met with reactions. The Nigerian police force over the weekend urged demonstrators to respect a court order restricting protests around key government areas. Police spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin, while acknowledging citizens' rights to peaceful assembly and expression, stated that such rights must be exercised responsibly and within the limits of the law, particularly where public safety, national security, and the rights of other citizens are concerned. I mean, this statement has elicited reactions, and I'll take some posts on X. This is from Obiora, who wrote on X. With due respect to the Inspector General of Police, the places mentioned in this release, Aso Rock Villa, the National Assembly, the Court of Appeal, Force Headquarters, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way are not private estates. They belong to the people of Nigeria. The citizens built them, funded them, and ultimately own them. Therefore, the right to peacefully assemble in those places is not a privilege to be granted by the government. It is a constitutional right that must be protected, not suppressed. If we are to speak of court orders, then we must remember that the same judiciary has discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on 2 separate occasions, yet the government continues to detain him in clear defiance of those rulings. Selective obedience to court orders undermines the very foundation of justice and erodes public trust in both the government and law enforcement. Nigerians are not asking for chaos. They're asking for fairness, equity before the law, and accountable governance. A government that has nothing to hide should have no fear of its citizens expressing dissent. Protests are not a threat. They are feedback, a mirror reflecting issues that require urgent attention. It is a sign that all is not well in the land. True leadership listens, not silences. The strength of any democracy lies not in the number of armed officers deployed to suppress voices, but in the courage of those in power to hear uncomfortable truths and act justly. Another ex-user wrote, "This statement from the Nigeria Police Force is a welcome reminder that the rule of law must guide every action in our democracy. Upholding court orders is crucial for maintaining order and preventing chaos. However, it's equally important that law enforcement officers carry out their duties with professionalism, restraint, and respect for the constitutional rights of citizens to peaceful assembly and free expression. Peaceful protest remains a legitimate democratic tool for citizens to express their grievances, provided it is conducted responsibly and within the law. The police must therefore balance fairness and fairness, ensuring that while security and public order are protected, voices of the people are not unjustly silenced. Ultimately, both the citizens and the police share a common responsibility to ensure peace, justice, and respect for the Constitution to prevail in our nation." I believe that's what the ex-user is trying to say. Rufai, we know the EndSARS movement, represented a defining moment for Nigeria's youth, a generation that, leveraged social media and organized this protest that captured international attention. It is quite, glaring at this moment that the rule of law has to prevail in the land. And, I do admire activist Omoyele Sowore for actually tying in this protest with the injustice as it seems. Rufai, your comment, and I'll come sit with you.
I mean, it's apt to protest when people have grievances, and that's why we have a democracy, and that's why I condemn any form of, military government. Because it's a democracy, people can protest, but in a democracy, when people protest and you stifle their voice and you kill them, it makes us get sad and even question if we were practicing democracy. And you see, I'm particularly miffed by the way they started to stifle protests. Just this morning, what happened? Omoyele Sowore went out with people to protest, and the next thing, tear gas. David Trust was reporting live bullets, live rounds being fired. The same people that shut this country down for 2 weeks, Jonathan did not go after them like this. A lot of the people that protested Occupy Nigeria morphed into what's in the APC today. We saw how they had a series of protests there. Were these not the same people that protested and put Jonathan's head and called him all sorts of names, Jonathan Haram and everything? Did they stifle their voices this way? So this high-handedness we practice in the name of democracy will not get anywhere. You remember the first anniversary after EndSARS? That Femi had to stand tall. Mr. Macaroni packed up in a bus. People must have the right to protest. What are they protesting for? Nnamdi Kanu. People have talked about a political solution on this one, because while you talk about Nnamdi Kanu, what he did is unfair. You are also seeing a lot of heinous crime being perpetrated by bandits, and they're having peace meetings. But in this country, some people have more power over the others. Like I've repeated, they have not said everything Nnamdi Kanu did was good. I disagree with some of most part of his advocacy. But what you cannot deny Nnamdi Kanu, are people not being marginalized in this country? Are people not being killed in this country? So as long as that is
happening and you don't have a level of fairness, and you're saying people should not talk? So I keep asking, which kind of democracy do we even practice? When it suits them, they talk. When it doesn't suit them, they go the other way. So please, people should be allowed to protest. Police should be there to protect them. I remember the famous protest when Chuba Akadibo and Buhari went to protest in Canada. They were found with them. That was where Femi Falana went to court and he got that judgment. You shouldn't stifle protest. But what do we see? We see all these attempts to stifle protest. What was the need? Going the way of tear gas canisters and the like. What was the need? And you see, in any democracy, there must be protest. That's what the Americans are speaking of.
Yes, speaking about
no kings.
Yes.
And we must not have kings in this country. They say they should not go around the people's house. It's the presidential villa, not the people's house. In other parts of the world, those people go to the White House, and the president will even take them on tours.
Right.
But you can't do. See this country.
All right. Well, speaking about that, and speaking about stifling protests, you just mentioned no kings. Speaking about protests in the United States, millions of people attended protests over the weekend against President Donald Trump's administration in the second rounds of No Kings demonstrations across all 50 states. The widespread rallies aim to broadly reject what organizers describe as Trump's increasingly authoritarian agenda. The protests, which originally began in June, follow sweeping ICE raids and troop deployments in Democrat-led states. The protests come against the backdrop of a federal government shutdown, with GOP lawmakers and the White House in a standoff with Democrats.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Get loud for our democracy! This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Get loud for our democracy!
Limbai, look at that. It is reported that about 7 million people participated in the protests. Trump and Republican leaders have labeled the protests as anti-American. However, we saw states like Idaho, a deeply conservative state, turn out dozens of protesters. The scale and organization of these demonstrations reflect deep political divisions in America, with citizens exercising their constitutional rights, even as political leaders debate the legitimacy and impact of mass protests on governance and national unity. You didn't see where they tried to stifle this protest. Across all 50 states, yes, we saw some police out there, but this is the constitutional right, Limbai.
I think this is the key takeaway. Whether you're pro or anti this protest, the takeaway is that it was allowed to happen. It was done so in an orderly way. We've yet to hear, reports of skirmishes with the law enforcement officials and so forth. And this is in essence what people are saying. People are saying that whether you stand with us or whether you don't agree with our cause, we should still be allowed to express ourselves in a free way and in an orderly and secure happening in America is something that I've drawn parallels with Nigeria on several occasions, especially because we exercise the presidential system of governance. And of course, we know what the tension that's currently happening between the center, the federal center, Donald Trump, and opposition states, with regards to security issues, with regards to a number of other ideological differences. And now this is culminating in people coming out to say, well, we feel that this government is becoming increasingly authoritarian, and we disagree with this. Of course, the response from Donald Trump is that, well, all of this is sponsored, it's anti-American and it's just sponsored to make me look bad. But the takeaway is the fact that the people are allowed to take to the streets and express themselves, whether they are sponsored or not, whether they stand right or not. History will judge them, and history on several occasions has vindicated millions of Americans who have come come out to protest in the streets to be able to voice their concerns. Now, the deepest concern in the global south is a phenomenon called hijacking protests that we see. We've seen protests become increasingly violent in a number of places. Now it's almost like it's like a catch-22 situations, because the more you stifle these outings, the more people are going to become aggressive in wanting to come out. What are some examples? You look at Kenya, you look at Nepal, you look at, there's several examples that we can look at where protests have turned extremely violent, and that is because there's a huge attempt to try and quell them. There's a huge attempt to try and take away people's rights to protest, and of course the outcome of that is violence. I hear in Abuja a number of people have been arrested this morning. That's besides the tear gas and the bullets that are flying around. And I just say, why can't we just trust our security services to ensure that protesters are kept safe, that they stick to whatever demarcated area has been allotted to them? That's most importantly. And number two, it does not need to degenerate. This narrative of protests being hijacked is an unfortunate one, and it needs to be brought to an end. And it's up to the police to protect protesters so that it doesn't degenerate and it doesn't get hijacked by those other people who have their own agenda.
Well said, Bimbai. And you know that I believe Omoyele Sowore was saying that he hasn't been served any court order at the moment. So, we're waiting to see the developments of the story. And RICV will bring you guys up to speed. We'll take another story now from Anambra State, where our colleague, RICV anchor, producer, and reporter Somi Maduagu was laid to rest this weekend. The funeral service was held at St. Teresa's Catholic Church in her hometown of Agulu, Anocha local government area. Somi's tragic death after an armed robbery attack at her home in Abuja last month drew extended family, friends, members of Arise News family, and well-wishers from across the country. Also present to pay his respects was former Labour Party candidate and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who is also from Agulu. Let's take a look.
Young, promising, and everything. Can't question God. He is alive. He's a gift and a love. Whatever I cause back, I will give it to him. Because all I can say, may he grant me eternal rest in his kingdom. Grant the family the fortitude and all of us the fortitude to bear the very, very sad
So may your soul continue to rest in peace. No parent should ever bury a child. This was so heartbreaking last night when I watched her being buried. Your thoughts?
So you're absolutely right. It's very, very sad, and our continuous condolences are with the Maduagu family. It's a difficult thing for any parents. We saw her siblings there, her sister Divine, her brother Osi there. They were said to be a very close-knit family, and to see that insecurity stole this youngster. And that was what Peter Obi had said in his post, having gone there. He talked about how important it was for him to do this, especially because this was a young life cut off in her prime. And again, symbolic that it's from his state as well, and where he's from. Nigeria mourns, especially Arise TV mourns, and we hope that her soul continues to rest in peace.
Amen. Amen. Somi, we will miss you. We will forever miss you here on Arise. May your soul rest in peace. Well, let's now turn to disturbing allegations contained in a video that went viral over the weekend featuring Nollywood actress Regina Daniels, who appeared distressed while complaining about violence in her marriage to Senator representing Delta North Senatorial District, Ned Nwoko. In the footage, Regina Daniels was heard saying that she no longer feels safe in her home and is tired of the violence. Let's take a look.
Look at me, Mom. Baby, once again, I cannot stand the violence. It's too much. It's too much. I tell you one something.
This video went viral over the weekend. A man identified as Regina's brother in response posted warnings on his Instagram story, alleging Senator Ned Nwoko physically assaulted his sister and smashed her head on a wall before sending thugs. Well, in response, Senator Ned Nwoko issued a statement in a post on X denying the allegations and instead accusing his wife of substance abuse and violent behavior. In his defense, the senator posted a video along with a caption, "Regina's unprovoked carnage and rampage in my house and in my absence." Senator Nwoko further claimed in the post that Regina's current battle with drugs and alcohol abuse is the root of the problems in their marriage, stating that she must continue rehabilitation or he fears for her life and safety. And I'll read a part of his post on X. Ned Nwoko wrote, "Regina is the violent one here, slapping and hitting 3 staff in the past 48 hours and destroying property, including cars and windows, for no just cause. The truth is, I have set a clear condition for her to accept rehab in Asokoro or outside Nigeria, especially Jordan, where she will not have access to drugs." And you know, this conversation has sparked a lot of reactions, sparked a debate on X. Now take Collins' tweet before I come to you, Ayo. Collins wrote, "Dear Senator, Sunday greetings to you. This statement you have put out raises several potential issues from a legal standpoint of view. 1, knowledge of criminal activity. If you had credible evidence long before now that named persons, Sammy and Ann, are supplying illegal drugs to your wife, the law generally requires, or at least expects, that such information be reported to law enforcement. Failure to do this in certain circumstances constitute aiding and abetting. I'm guessing that to protect your wife, you have never reported drug supply and usage regarding your wife. 2, rehabilitation and consent. Forcing or coercing an adult into rehabilitation without legal authorization can amount to unlawful detention. I believe that the lawful route is to obtain a court-ordered medical evaluation or guardianship order, especially if there is evidence of self-harm or danger to others. I may be wrong about judicial procedures in Nigeria. I think you should have a media team deal with this in the public space, or sometimes emotions get the best of us, while privately you deal with this matter." And you know why this story has come on television? It's because the senator is a public figure. I mean, this is a marriage situation, but if we have allegations, accusations of a senator violently smashing his wife's head on the wall, I mean, this, you know, it's now becomes a public debate. I mean, these are the sort of questions that, you know, and the fact is, like the ex-user wrote out there, that you have all this information about your wife and you never said anything about it until she comes out to say, "I am tired of this house." Then you play the card. That's a lot of the conversation. You either play the prostitution card or the drugs card.
Your thoughts on a lot of recent times. You're absolutely spot on. I was going to say that aside the moral and domestic part of this story, the key issues here are the fact that we're talking about a man who has the trust of his people sitting in the National Assembly as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And these are very weighty allegations, especially because we often talk about domestic violence. I know that Lagos State has a great agency for dealing with that. On a national level, we don't have individuals. I think it will just be violence against persons Act. That's what we'll be talking about here when it comes to eating. But beyond that, it's also looking at the kind of people that we elect into office. I'm not saying he's guilty, because at the end of the day, there's one side of it, two sides of the story, and there's the truth. So she's spoken, he's come out to say something, and then there's the truth which ought to be investigated. But in the event that this is true, we've had a number of allegations against people in this particular Senate sitting of the House. I think it's important that we begin to even investigate the kind of people that we put into or elect into offices. Beyond that would be then, if the allegations of domestic violence is true, I believe that it is high time as a nation we took a serious stance against this. We're talking about, and this is domestic violence against either husband or wife. We're still on the case of the policeman who we're still investigating whether or not his wife burnt him to death. We're still talking about Miriam Sander, who was forgiven by the president for killing her husband. So we're talking about these things that start off as hits here and there, and then let's all wait for a manslaughter case before we begin to cry blue money. Let us talk about it now. And then I agree totally. The NDLEA Act speaks to drug use. Yes. We have a pervasive drug problem in Nigeria, particularly among young people. And so if we're talking about two public figures speaking freely about the access and use and abuse of drugs, it has to be investigated by NDLEA. And I hope that they will not be taken over by the fact that these are mighty or powerful people in Nigeria and not take on this investigation.
So this attempt to constantly demonize people is so easy to throw in words like drug abuse and everything. And that tweet asks a very valid question. Prostitution and everything. I mean, we've had many cases by public officials. And that tweet asks the question, so why now? Because when both of them were going love in Tokyo,
Nigeria politicians.
we all used to see all of them now. Is it not there?
As in senator representing Anyocha State. Yeah, we
two things I'll say. One time,
the senator don't win and wine at or wine, not the correct. Yeah. The girl, always go on and on at the girl can go to the election and what they're going to instead of 24 years. And at the senator, and the way I'm doing that. But the girl can make a commas. But the way you more commas, only to make kind of fear out of some guy. I just go arrange it like this.
Even another innocent human being that have done that. You will have seen all the NGOs that have to do what they will this. They will have filed court cases by now.
All right. So let's get to the end of the day. All right. No one the court will
like they say in Yoruba, let's comment.
All right, time is kicking.
He's not found anything on his life.
I think all angles have been touched, but the one that I want to focus on is around age of consent, which, there's a blurred line between how old she was when she got married, but the general consensus is that she was 17 when she was married off, and it takes us back to the debate around young brides, child brides, girls. They're not yet women, they're not yet ready to be in the way of marriage, and all the factors that have been
she was a small
power, status, them into these settings. I ask myself, what does a girl know about a polygamous setting? How could she have known what she was signing herself up for in such a setting? Everything is in the realm of allegations right now, but all we know is we have this video of a disgruntled, disheveled young Regina Daniels who has barely been in her marriage more than 5 years, I believe. And it's unfortunate to see that in a home that...
1, so 3 times 1 is 3. So our final answer becomes what? That the y, the x now is going to give us 8x plus 3. This is a revision on differentiation. Now let's bring in integration and see how we can compare integration and differentiation. We test Z. I forgot to give it. If I got I forgot that. Say that's right.
So first, the record.
Oh yeah, record that. My own must be. I want to see this thing.
How we can compare integration and differentiation. So first we're going to see some revisions on differentiation, then afterwards we'll carry out that comparison that I talked about. So let's see how we can do that. Now first let's look at revision.
I mean, the writing says nothing I didn't do. The writing is very good. And it's clear, and the camera, that's here. So don't see where you position the camera very good. And nothing I'll do is I will take off. I will not be looking at this one. I'll just.
I'm doing the paper and then you
I'll do another one. And you can't just test camera. I'll start already. But I just wanted to see the position, which I think is very, very good. The positioning will even be better than I thought.
Do like 3 videos, post them today. Schedule them. One will drop today, tomorrow another one will drop. You know, say you don't revive your team.
And my other thing to come to the video, why you need to Here, like the wood positioning is excellent. Because I'm not walking the ball. Yet I'm writing it. My body, everybody see what I'm writing. Good morning, my dear listeners. Welcome to today's lesson. We're going to talk about integration. But first, we are going to take a revision on differentiation. Then afterwards, we'll look at the similarities between differentiation and integration. So first, let's look at differentiation. Differentiation. If you're told, for example, if y is equal to 3x squared, this is a revision on what we've done before, which is differentiation. You're told to find if this is this, and you're told find dy dx. That means differentiate y with respect to x. How do we do that? We know the general formula for differentiation, which is that dy dx is equal to nx to the power of n minus 1, where here, our n here stands for this constant here. Then this one comes around to multiply this and also drops by 1. What am I saying? We have that dy dx now is going to give us 2 now coming to multiply 3 gives us 6x. Then 2 here will drop by 1. We can now have that dy dx now is going to give us what? 6x. Similarly, if we are told to differentiate, we are told to differentiate with respect to differentiate y with respect to x, differentiate y with respect to x, y equal to, let's assume we have 4x squared plus 3x minus 1. You know that this is more or less the derivative of a sum, and we can handle this independently. That means I can differentiate this plus differentiating this. And when you differentiate a constant, you all know it is equal to 0. So here, how do I do that? I'll have that my dy dx now is equal to, this one comes over here, it gives you 4 times 2, 8x, then my 2 minus 1, then plus 3x, because this one is here, multiplying it gives you 3, then to the power of 1 minus 1, and when you differentiate this, it gives you what? 0, so this is minus 0. So we have that our dy dx now gives us 8x, 2 minus 1 is 1, then plus 3, then x to the power of 0, because 1 minus 1 is 0. So which finally we have that our dy dx now gives us 8x plus 3. Now, this is differentiation. A little bit of revision on it. Now let's look at integration, and afterwards we compare differentiation and integration. How are we going to do that comparison? We're going to pick up one of them that we have differentiated. And if you recall, we got 6x. So I'm going to clean the bottom. I'm going to write out this 6x that we got, which I expect that when we integrate the 6x, we are going to get back our 3x squared here. Because you remember, we differentiated 3x squared and it gave us 6x. So let us integrate 6x and find out if we are going to get back. So let's do that quickly, and let's do it on this side so that we'll be able to make that comparison. Now, look at this. Our integration goes like this. This is 6x dx. Now, what is the general formula for integration? General formula for integration is 1 over n plus 1 x to the power of n plus 1 plus c, where the n here is the coefficient of that x, then plus 1, then x to the power of, the power of the x, so that means 1 plus the power of x, then x to the power of the power plus 1. Yeah, compulsory holiday. That is it. It's fine, man. Okay. Okay, I'm going to what? All right. No video come back. I will put my phone for the move.
You don't
scatter the move. Aku tak boleh play mulu. Good day, my dear listeners. Welcome to today's lesson on integration and differentiation. But first, let us look at a little revision on differentiation before we get into what we have in mind. So let's take one or two examples on differentiation, then we'll come back to the integration and we'll see the relationship between differentiation and integration. So let's look at this example. If you are told if y is equal to 4x cubed, so find the y dx. In other words, we are saying differentiate y with respect to x. So for us to do that, we see, let's go back to our general differentiation formula, which you know that the y, the x now is equal to nx to the power of n minus 1. Here, where n here is the coefficient of this x cubed, and this 3 here, this n here again, is the power of what we are differentiating, which in this case is 3. So this 3 now will come over here, multiply this 4. And then it will also drop by 1. What am I saying? We will have here that our dy, the x here will now be 3 multiplying 4 gives us 12. Then x to the power of the 3 we drop by 1, which we have as 12x to the power of 3 minus 1 is 2. Let's take another example. If you are given if y is equal to 4x squared plus 3x minus 5, and you're told find the y dx. So that will differentiate y with respect to x. Here, what do? Again, we have this is derivative of a sum. We can handle this individually. So I can differentiate 4x squared plus, I will now differentiate 3x, and then differentiating a constant gives you 0. So here I will have that dy, the x will now be 2 times 4, this means what? 8x, then my power 2 minus 1, then plus 3x, this 3y just root 3 is because this is 1, then 1 multiplying 3 gives me 3, then 1 minus 1. And when you differentiate 5, it gives you 0. So here we now have our dy, the x now, gives us 8x, this is 2 minus 1 is 1, so plus 3, 1 minus 1 is 0. So we finally will have that our dy, the x now gives us 8x plus 3. Okay, now let's bring up integration, and you see clearly where I will tell you that differentiation is a reverse of integration. In other words, differentiation can be said to be the opposite of integration. Let's use this example. to prove that. Let me clean this side of it. We'll talk about that. Now, integration. Now, our integration, if we have the integration, this is the formula here. If you're told integrate 12x squared dx. Remember, I said we differentiated this one to get this. So if we integrate this, we are meant to get this back. So let's find out. But first, let's look at the formula for integration. Integration says 1 divided by n plus 1, then x to the power of n plus 1, then plus c. This c is a constant here, which is supposed to have been any number that would have been here, which is a constant like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, when you integrate or when you differentiate them, it gives you 0. So those values here means little or nothing, but we don't know that there is a constant. So whatever we're going to differentiate, after that, just like when I have plus 0 here, you know that whatever, or plus 3 here, you know that whatever I do here, it will still round off to 0. That is why we had to include the c there. Okay. Now let's look at it. For us to now differentiate this one, the integration of this. First, how do we do this? If you want to integrate and you have a constant here first, you shift that constant to the front of the integration and you differentiate, you integrate this one as it is. So what am I saying? We have, this will now give us 12, the integration of x squared dx. So I now have 12 now multiplying, I now bringing up my formula, which is 1 over, what is my power? 2 plus 1. Then x to the power of 2 plus 1. Then plus c. Which I will go ahead to have 12 now multiplying 1 over 2 plus 1 gives me what? 3. Then I have x to the power of 3 plus c. Which I can cancel out here. 3 can go here 1, 3 will go here 4. So what I'm going to have in essence, we have that this will now give us 4 multiplying x will give us 4x to the power of 3 plus c. So, which you can see from here, we are back to the original thing that we had. Let's take more examples. Now, assuming we are told evaluate the integration of 3x to the power of 4 plus 2x squared minus 5 dx. How do we handle this? Remember, just as we did in this initial part here, where I said when you have a constant here to integrate, just shift it and bring it in front of the integration sign. Now, what it means is that if I'm going to solve this one, I will have 3 moving over here, the same thing 2 also, and same thing 5 also. So I can differentiate this one separately, just as I talked about derivative of the sum, where you can differentiate individually. You can equally integrate individually. So I can integrate this one to become 3, the integration of x to the power of 4, then plus 2, the integration of x squared minus 5, the integration of x to the power of 0 dx. Why did I put to the power of 0? You know that whatever you raise up to the power of 0 is still 1. So it is the same thing I'm talking about. This is the same as 5. I did not change any value. So here we now have this will be 3 now multiplying. This will now give us 1 over n here in this case is what? 4. So we have 4 plus 1, then x to the power of 4 plus 1, and plus 2 multiplying 1 over 2 plus 1, x to the power of 2 plus 1, then minus 5 multiplying 1 over, this is 0, remember, 0 plus 1. Let's clean up this side so we have 1. So this will give us 0 plus 1, x to the power of 0 plus 1, then plus c. Alright, so here, what are we going to do? We have 3 multiplying 1 over 5, x to the power of 5, then plus have 2 multiplying 1 over 3 x to the power of 3 minus 5 times 1 over 1 x to the power of 1 plus c, which when we multiply further, we have 5 multiplying now, this will give us 5, sorry, this will give us 3 all divided by 5 x to the power of 5 plus 2 over 3 x to the power of 3, then minus 5 x to the power of 1, if you like, then plus c, and you have integrated. Let's take another example. We can look, okay, I have copied this, let's clean this up and take another example. Now, let's look at this here. If you are told to evaluate the integration of the square root of x all raised to power 2 dx. Now let's put it raised to power 3. Now we know that anything square root means raised to power half if you want to relate it with indices. So I can rearrange this one to be the integration of x to the power of half, then bracket 3 dx, which, you know, in indices, I can open up this bracket to give me the integration of x to the power of 3 over 2 dx, okay, which I can now solve as 1 over, this one now becomes 3 over 2, so we have 3 over 2 plus 1, then x to the power of 3 over 2 plus 1, then plus c, which again, 3 over 2 plus 1. If we are to solve, 3 over 2 means 1.5. So 1.5 plus 1 gives me what? 2.5. So 2.5, we have 1 divided by 2.5, which is 5 over 2. Then we have x to the power of, again, 5 over 2. Then plus c. And you know that we can, if you have a double bracket this way, you can oversolve. That means I can rearrange this one to become 1 over 1, if you like, divided by 5 over 2, then x to the power of 5 over 2 plus c, which I can have 1 over 1 times 2 over 5, x to the power of 5 over 2 plus c, which I now have 2 over 5, x to the power of 5 over 2 plus c. So I have integrated again. Let's take 4 examples and see. Let's take one more, which again I can say integrate 4, or let's use another number. It will integrate 2x to the power of 4 plus 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3 dx. So with this, I can go ahead to do the same thing I did before, which is bringing 2 outside, the integration of x to the power of 4, plus bringing 3 outside, the integration of x to the power of 3, minus bringing 5 outside, the integration of x squared, then plus 3, the integration of x to the power of 0, then I have the x, which again, I can proceed to have 2 multiplying 1 over 4 plus 1, then x to the power of 4 plus 1, then plus 3 multiplying 1 over 3 plus 1, then x to the power of 3 plus 1, then minus 5 multiplying 1 over 2 plus 1, x to the power of 2 plus 1, then plus 3 multiplying 1 over 0 plus 1, x to the power of 0 plus 1. or plus C. Okay? So let's clean this so that we don't get confused. Okay. So here I have 2 now multiplying 1 over 5 x to the power of 5 plus this 3 multiplying 1 over 4 x to the power of 4 minus 5 multiplying 1 over 3 x to the power of 3, then plus 3 multiplying 1 over 1 x to the power of 1 plus c, which we can proceed and solve. 2 multiplying this gives us 2 over 5 x to the power of 5 plus 3 over 4 x to the power of 4 minus 5 over 3 x to the power of 3, then plus 3x to the power of 1 if you like, then plus c, and you have further integrated. Okay. All right, I think we're going to stop here, and in my next video, we are going to see some more integrations, maybe on a little more complex level. Till then, have a nice time. I'll see you again. We can sit down first to look at the TV.
Differentiate y with respect to x. So first we do that. See, let's go back to our general differentiation formula. Y x now is equal to n x to the power of n minus 1. Here, where n here is the coefficient of this x cubed, and this 3 is n here again is the power of what we are differentiating, which in this case is 3. So this 3 now come over here and multiply this one. And then to also drop by 1. What am I saying? If we have here that divide the x, you have 3 multiplied 4 is also 12, and then x to the power of the 3 drop by 1, which we have as 12x to the power of 3 minus 1 is 2. Let's take a breakdown. If you're given y is equal to 4x squared plus 3x minus 5. Find y dx. So that will differentiate y with respect to x. Here, what do I do? Again, we have this is derivative of a sum. We can handle this individually. So I can differentiate with 4x squared plus I'll now differentiate 3x, and then differentiate a constant gives you 0. So here I'll have now here y x will now be 2 times 4 is equal to 8x. Here, my power 2 minus 1 and plus 3x, and this 3 minus 3 is just equal to 1. Then 1 multiplies 3 is 3, and then 1 minus 1. And when you differentiate 5, it gives you 0. So here, y dx gives us 8x. 2 minus 1 is 1, so plus 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we finally have that our y dx now gives us 8x plus 3. Now let's take up the integration, and you see clearly where I will tell you that differentiation is a class of integration. In other words, differentiation can be said to be of integration. Let's use this example to prove that. Let me take a slide to cover that. 12 elements where, yes, remember, I said we differentiated this one to get this. So if we integrate this, we are meant to get this back. So let's find out. But first, let's look at the formula for integration. Integration says 1 divided by n plus 1 is then x to the power of n plus 1 n plus c. This c is a constant here, which is supposed to appear any number of here, which is a constant.
Has the necessary expertise and logistics for it to succeed. Speaking in an interview with journalists in Abuja, former Finance Minister Dr. Shamsuddin Usman says experts in the diaspora can also have consultations with patients and perform surgeries in Nigeria through medical technology.
Technology, especially artificial intelligence, is becoming part of our lives now. There's so much progress that we're doing with. I think everybody now, the average person, educated person, is using some AI app or another. But in medicine in particular, one of the greatest areas of progress with technology and AI is in the medical profession. And therefore, today, doctors rely a lot on technology for diagnostics, even for operation, robotic operation, for example, technology is advancing everywhere, from all trying to better the life of the sick people and even help prevent sickness in many circumstances. So I think it's a good this science should be at the forefront of it in terms of acquisition, technology, maintenance of technology, even communication ideas to make technology more accessible. In healthcare, we must take that. Healthcare is technology driven, modern healthcare is technology driven. And I think very much modern day technology transforms on a daily basis. So we can't afford this kind because that is effectively means using that.
And that's it on the Virtual Business Report for now, but stay tuned for our news. From all of us, many thanks for your company. I'm Abby Overland.
The feedback from our customers has shown that this CNG has shown them a lot from spending more on petrol. So they prefer the CNG to petrol now. And as time goes on, we are getting more customers. And we are going to have new. My name is Kamal Ability. I'm the manager of AdWords Israel Limited in Ibadan branch. What we do here is we do conversion of cars into planes. The first time I heard about CNG from my boss here. So when we talk about CNG conversion, I was like, is it possible? And he said, yes, because the country have been using it for years. But now that Nigeria want to adopt it, we want to venture into it. And by the grace of God, started it, and everything is successful today. What is advancing every day? Now we can do conversion for generators, both EV and petrol generators. And since we started this brand here, that converted to a lot of cars, both buses, trucks, and cars.
more people are having interest in the consumption rate now is getting higher day by day. The personal experience that I have, that to me, I can see it's very economical too. Very, very economical. Because the rate of people that are requesting for the conversion shows that the energy is very economical. So my personal experience with this is very okay. Those who are converted for, none of them are complaining about anything. Their cars work perfectly, and the energy doesn't mess up their engine. So that's my own personal experience. When we started this brand, some technicians, like professionals, were invited to come and train us here. We do all the trainings here, including me and our other staff. So we do the training here, and since then, we have been improving day by day. Most of us, we don't know much, we don't even know anything about CNG before. But after the training, we started giving much interest in it, and we are developing in it day by day. Right now, all of us here, our skills are added. Because we don't know anything about CNG before, but now, bring any car, we're going to convert it. And our conversion time is not that too long. You can convert 2-3 cars, even more than that. And those we have converted for, none of them complain about any negative impact of food. None of them complain about it. And then I come up with new.
By National Orientation Agency.
Coming soon to over 500 million smartphone users and 1.5 billion voices. Leke, the social platform for the world. Out of Africa. By the founders of Arise and Listening Media Group, we're going to be launching with a big bang. A new homegrown social platform born in Africa and built for the world, blending community, culture, and cutting-edge AI. It's fast, culturally rooted, data-friendly, and designed to scale globally. A digital platform for youth, creators, and business. A one-stop shop to connect, share, create, and earn.
Emails. Use the phone. Redmi. You put the difference between the video.
This video is not